Hello everybody and welcome back to the Splashdown Under podcast. I am your host, Wacko Jacko. That's right, the YouTuber man from Down Under, the crazy guy. And, wow, okay, look, I got some explaining to do, right? I've got a bit explaining to do. The last episode I did of this was 2019, maybe? It was probably after the, we had the Splatoon 2 Australian qualifiers tournament, specifically the grand final at what was it called? Supernova. That's right. I remember things. I remember. Trust me, I do. So yeah, been a long time. A lot of things have happened since those days. We've had, what have we had since 2019 for Splatoon? I mean, we've had things kind of happened before. Like, I'm thinking version 4.0 came out, but like, this has been so much. Obviously there was been a pandemic, so obviously we haven't had any. I don't think we've had any World Cup. Well, not World Cup, like World Championships since then, have we? I don't think we have. So like, yeah, 2019 was the last sort of main time and period that I did the Splashdown Under podcast. But yeah, we're going more of a visual format this time around, streaming over on Twitch, and then I'll be uploading the VOD or the podcast to show on to YouTube, I guess. I'll look into maybe doing uploading onto certain podcast services, but we'll see how we go. Podcasting these days, you have to pay certain fees for getting onto certain services such as Spotify and SoundCloud and whatnot. SoundCloud you can do, but you get a certain amount of minutes and hours of upload before you have to pay premium, which is what I think I might have done the first time around. But yeah, welcome back to the Splashdown Under podcast. It's yeah. So since the last episode, really, a lot has happened. Well, personally for me as well, I guess. But yeah, a lot has happened in the Splatoon world. Where do we begin? I feel like at the top of the show I should start off with the announcement. It's a bit late, but like, I officially myself hit maximum points on GoodTuber, and I was the first Western player to do so. Yeah, 9999999 points. Was that enough nines? I think I said enough nines. Yeah, and that was done on April 3rd. Me and Ollie TC from Twitter. He's part of the actually he doesn't, not really part of it. He runs the Bamboozler propaganda on Twitter. So yeah, he and I were basically on the final stretch together. We were both at 9.8 million or something, 9.9 or something close, and we kind of decided to race it, just see who could get there first. And then yeah, we kind of just tied, and we got to 9999 together, so it was kind of fun. He was getting max on his Bamboozler Mark III, by the way, I should say. But yeah, we both hit max together, and we were the first Western players to reach those numbers for those weapons. So I'm the first Western player to reach max. When I say that, I say Western because outside of Japan, I guess, that just when you say like the Western scene, it's basically like NA, Europe, and Oceanic, I guess. So the idea of being the Western player to do it is kind of nuts. I was quite overwhelmed with the amount of people saying congratulations and whatnot, and a few questionable responses. Some people think like, why did you do this to yourself? that one gave me a good giggle. Yeah, all this time playing the one weapon. Well, I say one, but like at the same time I was sort of pocketing custom GoodTuber. So that was, that's fair. You even it up by playing the other one. Which this is current state, I think I got 2.5 million on custom Goo. A lot of people did say, like, when I reached max on vanilla, to say like, oh, you should go for custom now. I'm like, I don't think I'll get there before Splatoon 3. Which is what we're going to be focusing on today. So yeah, basically the idea of bringing back Splatoon, the Splashdown Under podcast was because of the announcement of Splatoon 3. Now, I went back and I did not realize this, but it has been a year, over a year already since Splatoon 3 was announced. I believe it was I think it was 17th of February on 2021. We had a teaser trailer from the Nintendo Direct that we had in February. And for those who remember the teaser trailer, we had the image of like there was a valley, and then there was like this mysterious character, and then they flipped their thing back, and you can see that it's an Inkling, Splatoon 3, and then that's when the whole Splatoon community just like experienced the ultimate hype that we've probably ever had. And like the other giveaway I guess in that teaser was that little Seminoid just happily bouncing by himself. And then the other thing that got us really excited was to see the crossbow, the ink bow, or the splat bow. I don't know what the name is for it. I should know, but I guess we'll talk about it in more depth when we get there. Like, I'm basically just going to be going through the Twitter feed of the Splatoon North America Twitter page, which obviously just retweets the Japanese, except translates it in English, so that'll be easier to read. But yes, Splatoon 3 was announced February 17, 2021, and it's been a year since. And obviously they've started kind of dropping little bits of news here and there. Nothing too is like, because E3 isn't probably going to be returning. Like, E3 was the kind of thing that we were hyped for, like, because usually they would announce major games, give us updates about certain game developments and stuff like that. Like since the last E3, which I think was 2019, I guess, like they announced Metroid 4, Bayonetta 3, and we've heard nothing about those games. Absolutely nothing. So, I mean, I'm not here to talk about games that aren't Splatoon, but it's just worth a mention that there's those two games from 2019 or whatever they were announced. We've heard nothing. And Splatoon 3, because like Splatoon 2, I think from memory, has been out for 5 years. 5 years. Or might be 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I think so. Because we've been playing the same game for nearly 5 years, and it's had its good moments. Like when we were first playing the game, obviously it was it's a brand new game, brand new weapons. Well, I should say weapon class, I guess, because of the the dualies, introduction of dualies. The whole, it always seems like there's always kind of like a niche about the games. Like Splatoon 2, let's introduce dualies because 2 guns, kind of makes sense. Well, Splatoon 3's kind of niche thing is that there's a cross, kind of like a splat bow, I guess you call it, and it shoots out three arrows. I think it's called I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but yeah, the fact that you're going from Splatoon 1 where you have one shooter each, one single fire, whatever, and then you have the Splatoon 2 which introduced dualies, 2 guns, and now we have Splatoon 3 introduces the bow, the triple tri-bow. So it's kind of interesting how they've gone very niche. And also, not just that though, but some of the specials when we get to, they not only do they like fire, like how they work, but there's you'll kind of catch the drift of what's going on here. Just everything revolves around 3, number 3. But we'll get into that later. So first of all, let's talk about Splatoon 3. So Splatoon 3, like I said before, was announced December. I can't even read. It was first announced in 17th of February 2021. The teaser trailer basically revealed us similar gameplay to Splatoon 2 and revealed new items, weapons and abilities, including the ink bow and a new kind of apocalyptic. Why can't I say that word? Apocalyptic. So I guess this kind of hangs from the fact that sort of Splatoon 2's final Splatfest, which is kind of not true actually. It was labelled as the final Splatfest, where you chose between Team Chaos or Team Order. and so glad that Team Chaos win because I chose them. So Team Chaos basically decided what the next game was going to be, and yeah, Splatoon 3 first teaser trailer was basically showed that off to us. So the later on in 2021, just in September, they showed us off the new kind of story mode, I guess you could say. The return of the mammalians. Basically, it's the enemies, but they got fur instead. So I wonder if there's kind of like a weird freeze over that's happened. Maybe like there's a freeze over, and then because of the chaos, the whole of the world is just dried up. Maybe there is a sinister plot. Maybe this could be something to do with climate change. Is the law and the story is going to run deep? I feel it's just going to go deep and wide. We did get a one-off trailer thing for Splatoon 3's Salmon Run, so that it's coming back. Salmon Run is coming back for those who enjoy Salmon Run. I think it's called the Next Wave from memory, or something like that. So there's an introduction of new salmon bosses. Now let me see if I can find them on here, because they did introduce them here. So Salmon Run Next Wave is basically the one I was trying to say. So as we know, similar to the Salmon Run from Splatoon 2, there's a new stage called Sockeye Station. I did not know the name for some reason. So there you go. There's one thing so far announced. Now I don't know if they introduced the name of the new Salmonoid. Oh yeah, so there's a King Salmonoid. There's the main antagonist is a giant Salmonoid called a Cohawk. I think there was a thing called a pillar. I don't think they announced it's written here, but I remember distinctly there was a pillar, and then on top of the pillar there was these flying kind of fish, like going around a carousel kind of like thing. Here we go. There's an image over here. I can't remember what the name was. I think it was like a pillar, ink pillar. I think the Japanese name was ink pillar. And then there's also the diver. Well, so the Japanese name of this thing here, where is it? I just saw it. There it is. This thing here is called the diver in Japanese. I can't remember what's the flipper flopper. It's called the flipper flopper. This is where the Japanese names are better than the English names. Does it say here? It should say. So this is now this is a good English pun. I'll give him credit for this one. This is called the fish stick, but in Japanese I think it's called pillar. I'm pretty sure it's called pillar in Japanese. But yeah, that is called the fish stick. Quite clever actually. I don't mind that. And yeah, the flip flopper. Also, yeah, bizarre name. It's basically just a dolphin type thing. It looks like a dolphin, so anyway. So yeah, that was the salmon. That was the Salmon Run announcement for Splatoon 3, because that was kind of like the first thing we kind of got. Like we got the teaser trailer for Splatoon 3 in February, and then we heard really nothing for most of the year until they introduced us to the Salmon Run, the Next Wave. So it did like. It kind of fed some of the Splatoon players, because there are people that specifically play Splatoon 2 just for Salmon Run, which is fine. Like, that's completely fine. Salmon Run is, a very fun mode. It's actually a good mode where you can actually play competitively, cooperatively, and it's rewarding though, because the amount of time you spend playing it, the more points you get, the higher professional ranking you get, the more rewards you get, like you get coin tickets and stuff like that, drink tickets, which is something I wonder if they'll maintain that for the Salmon Run in Splatoon 3. Like if you get the same type of rewards, I probably think they will. Will Grisco still be there, and will Mr. Grizz still be there? Who knows? So yeah, that was basically all we got for 2021. Salmon Run Next Wave announcement and the teaser trailer earlier in that year. So yeah, a lot of cool things we noticed in that teaser trailer was the new area where we, like the lobby area, I guess you call it. Splatlands, I think it's not Splatlands. I can't remember what it's called. I should have done my research, but I don't care. I'm going on a whim, and I'm happy to do that. Ah, here it is. So the main hub of Splatoon 3 is called Splatsville, nicknamed the City of Chaos because, you know, Chaos won that Final Splatfest. It's located outside the usual location of Inkopolis, in a place called the Splatlands. Similar to the previous game in the series, this game will have single player. Yeah, we already know about that. Yeah. Oh, one of the locations will be called Alterna. Is that a play on words for alternative? I'm assuming that's probably what that means. Yes. Okay. Right. So I don't think there's any other new stuff that's on this page. Yeah. Basically, just Splatsville. A lot of people were like, "Oh, what's Splatsville based off?" I think there was a based from, like, there was some sort of building in China, some sort of, in Japanese it's called the Bankara Machi, which is Splatland City translates to scruffy or rough city. Bankara is a Meiji era term meant as the opposite of high color, so like, I guess, low working hard class maybe. So yeah, but it is based off a sort of weird Chinese building or something. I cannot remember. But anyway, so that's Splatsville. Right, so let's get into the nitty and gritty of it, right? So in February 10, we got the Splatoon North America Twitter account, which is nice because mainly the main source of things we get is the Splatoon JP account, and they only write in Japanese, so we have to use the old good old Translate. So yeah, on February 10, basically just a greetings to fans and Splatoon curious. This is the Research Lab, are proud to introduce a new account and will share the findings on Inklings, Octings, the Splatlands and Splatoon 3 itself. So, we got a video about the Salmon Run Next Wave trailer, which I won't go onto it, but it's there to watch on YouTube. Basically just shows off the fish stick and the diver and the king salmonoid. It is quite the most gruesome villain I've ever seen for Splatoon. Like, this thing should be in the story mode, not Salmon Run. It's ginormous apparently. Apparently it's very ginormous. So yeah, we got the two or three seven bosses and the new stage for Salmon Run Next Wave. So yeah, then what else do we have here? So here we go. This is the. So I think this is our gameplay video footage. So basically, we have all returning weapons, base weapons that is. All base weapons are returning to Splatoon 3, which is so good because basically the GooTuber community and myself were having this fear of like, oh, is GooTuber going to return? I don't think it, because a lot of people were like, I don't think GooTuber will come back because no one used it, or like it's so terrible, it's a bad weapon and stuff like that. But I'm so happy it's coming back. I mean, I feel like the specials for Splatoon 2 won't come back at all. They're coming back in some other form. So, for example, we have the special zip line, which is basically like an inkjet, except, you know, it's like Spider-Man, but with inkjet. I don't know. You have a certain time period to like fling yourself to the other side of the map, and then pick off that charger that's just been sitting there the whole game. And then after the time period expires, you jump back to that point where you left, which is cool. I don't mind that. There's the Great Barrier, which is I think in English it's called the bubbler. I think so. It's basically just like the it's just an idle big shield kind of thing. It doesn't move, unfortunately. So that's going to be interesting how that works. Then we got the now where is it? I gotta show you these about these specials first because these specials are crazy. The ink vac. I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to explain it. It basically just like it drains up all the ink in an area, and can also, I think actually no, hold on, no, it sucks up all the ink that the enemies are shooting at it. I wonder if it's also vacs your team's own ink. That'd be something worth trying. I don't know if it's going to do it. I don't think you can. It might be just you're vacuuming only your enemy's ink when they're shooting it, and then once it's got to enough charge, you blast a big thing back at them. And I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a shock. Then there's explosion. I don't know. It's kind of like I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a weird booyah bomb, I guess, except without the booyahing. And that instead of relying on the booyahs as your ammo, it's just the enemy's ink. Well, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work. They announced the triple ink strike. So basically, the ink strike for Splatoon 1, you had your gamepad, and when you had your special, you had to look at your gamepad and tap on the screen where you wanted to fire the ink strike. This one, however, is a triple ink strike. So this one, you throw out these beacon spots, I guess you call it, and then also, when you're throwing out the beacon spots, these things get rain down from the sky. And yeah, this is a good way to pick off those charges again that don't move. So I don't know if you could cancel them per se though, because like I feel like there might be a time period where as soon as those things get thrown out, there might be a chance where you can shoot down that beacon thing. If that makes sense. Yeah, someone did say ink strike, Docky. Yes, I reckon this triple ink strike is going to be bringing back those Splat 1 veterans. So yeah, we have a triple ink strike. I kind of like the idea, but this is the thing I was talking about. This is the niche of the Splatoon 3. We've got triple things, right? So triple ink strike. Remember that. We also have the Trizooka. Now, there's no footage on this account which shows it, but basically Trizooka, it shoots 3 shots. And one of those 3 shots, there's like these 3 bullets that kind of go around like this in a spiral, like in the direction you're shooting. So that's going to be interesting. I don't mind it. It's I don't know. I kind of like hope Gucci gets it, but like I don't know. I don't really know. My mind is open to anything happening. Also with specials, we got the now I can't remember what they called it, but it's Killer Whale 5.1, I think it's called, and it's a bit like the OG Killer Whale, except like there's multiple little subwoofers floating around you. And I noticed that in one of the gameplay trailers they did, there was a time period where like they used it, but like 1 or 2 fired off in where they were. But when the Inkling moved a bit, some of them kept following with them. I'm not sure how it worked, but that was I don't know. It looked bizarre to me. But yeah, there's little subwoofers, and I think they're called 5.1 because that's what the size of the subwoofers are. They're 5.1 inches, which kind of makes sense, but it's weird. It's very weird. So yeah, we've got the announcement of the ink strikes, the ink zookers, the ink vac, and there's another special the Great Barrier, the shield thing. Basically, it's not that great. Oh yeah, and another thing we noticed in the Splatoon 3 teaser trailer, where we actually saw some 4v4 action, turf war, was that the change up of the spawning situation. So instead of having a spawn pad like we always do in Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2, instead you launch in onto the map. There's a certain area you can sort of aim or target for to land and then go into battle. So this kind of removes the possibility of being spawn camped, I guess, which is kind of a nice thing though, because it just changes up the fight. So like instead of instead of just spawning in the one spot every time, you can always change it up. So if you depending on the situation, like if you want to go a bit more aggressive, like push the team opponents back, then you can spawn as far as you want forward. I think there must be a limit. Otherwise, if you need to help your team retreat a bit and put some pressure on the attack, then spawn in behind your teammates or something. I don't know. I guess it depends on your weapon class and weapon ability. But so with this other thing too, I noticed they saw some weapon designs change. So I think this is the what's it called? The range blaster. That's right. The range blaster sort of got a weird design. Unless that's a new blaster, I'm not sure. But we have a splat bow, which is cool. And my theory, this splat bow might have a charge keep situation. It might have. Not sure how it's going to work, but it might have. So yeah. The splat bow is interesting because when you're standing up, it fires like a normal. But I noticed when they did like a jump off like a platform to go down to the ground, there was a little change when it went from horizontal to sideways. So I don't know if that's going to make any difference for anything, but that's kind of cool. So yeah, I don't know how that's going to work, but I don't mind it. It's a little niche, again. So many things about this new game. And another thing too is, right, so we have a lot of sub-strafing is used by the competitive scene, and like the average Joe probably doesn't use it that much. I know the GooTuber has its own strafing thing because you can hold charge for a certain period of time, so you can strafe as long as possible as long as you still have charge. Yeah, there's a button now. It's like a dodge button. So like, if you're getting pressure, if there's a 5.1 kill away at you, you can press. I'm not sure which button they've allocated it to yet, but there's a button where you can there's a slight chance we have invincibility frames, not invisible. Invisible frames. Imagine that. Invincibility frames. Yeah, so that'd be kind of interesting to see how that works. And also, it kind of looks like it works when you're not only like swimming on the ground, but like there could be a way when you're going up a water surprise a charger. If you're a blaster player, like you jump up and then the charger dead. I don't know. There was a trailer video I saw, and there was like a blaster jumping up on this wall, and he jumped up into the air, and he just shot down this charger and killed him. Yeah, I feel like there's going to be lots of options and strategies you can use with this button, with this move, I guess. But yeah, so what else was there? There was obviously we got the announcement of the base weapons all returning from both games. The one thing I remember someone saying on my Twitter feed and my Discord was talking about the squelchers, the jet squelchers. So in Splatoon 1, the jet squelchers had two little squelchers on the one gun. So there's a bottom one and a top one. So like for the CDSs, what the CDSs are, but in CDSs is just one. What am I talking about? Yeah, so the jet squelchers had the two barrels, top one down the bottom. And so like they said the base weapons are returning. Does that mean the jet squelcher is going to go back to the Splatoon 1, or they're going to have both the jet squelcher or the one from Splatoon 2? That's going to be interesting. I don't know. Want to follow that actually. So as they did, Splatoon North America teased us with a render of a 96 scale, which yay. But it looks like it's got a slight design change too, which looks kind of nice. Like I feel like they've gone through some weapons and given them somewhat design changes, which is nice. They gave us renders of the charges, so there's an Elite 4K. Elite 4K, so I feel like they could have missed they missed the thing here. They could have gone to Elite 5K. But I don't know. The Swiffer's got a new thing on the back, and I think it's a slightly different colour barrel. Apparently that cleaner's from Splatsville, so that's why they got the change. And then Splat Charger we've seen already. But yeah, we know the crossbow as well. One thing we noticed in the teaser trailer was the abilities, and there was like a weird like little dart sensor thing that we noticed. And apparently it turns out to be called a thing called an angle shooter. So this is like a point sensor, you could say. But for some reason it can ricochet and bounce off walls and on angles, hence why it's called probably an angle shooter. But also, not only does it point sensor, it also takes damage. So I'm not sure how much damage you do to someone. But I can imagine, like, if you're just hitting someone straight on, it'd probably do more damage than it does when it ricochets. But I feel like it's it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to be utilitized. Used. I'm just going to say used. It's easier to say used. If it's just a matter of trying to, because there's no point doing an angle censoring someone that's on the other side of the map, unless it's someone who's directly special. But like that's not really going to do anything. But the fact that you can do damage with it is pretty cool. Like, I'm just thinking from a Gucci point of view here, or like a 2-shotter weapon. Like if it does 10 damage, I can do like a quarter charge shot, and it would probably kill, or maybe a bit more, maybe like a third charge. But another thing I just think off the top of my head now, and I'm thinking about it. I wonder if MPU will make a return, because MPU kind of changed the game a lot in Splatoon 2, and it's I don't know. I feel like Splatoon 2 when they brought in MPU, it kind of made the game less fun. Because there's a whole bunch of people using it for, like weapons that don't really need it. Like CDS, for example. CDSs are like, you can kill like custom dually squatches, or just dually squatches, I should say. You can get pretty quick kills, easy kills without MPU, but I guess it's just for those people who want to get those confirmed kills. So I don't know. I hope MPU doesn't come back. They'll probably do that damage up for Splatoon 1 ability. They might do like a variety of, if they mix damage up with MPU or something. I don't know. They might merge the two. Like they did with Bomb Defense and Cold Blooded, I believe. Another thing we noticed, one thing we did notice also, in that there was a gameplay trailer for it recently. There's a thing where you can get yourself a tag. That's right. You can have a tag under your name. It must be a customizable thing that, like, over time when you level up and stuff, that you can unlock these tags, I guess. The tweet says, it seems that inhabitants of Splatlands utilise these colourful banners to show off their style, and not just in battles. They are visible in a variety of settings and fully customisable based on gameplay. So, based on gameplay. So I think that's... So like at the end, that teaser gameplay, when they did the Turf War video, there was a part at the end, it's like, you were aimed at the most, you were shot at the most, you killed the most, or whatever. So I wonder if that's what they're talking about there. For example, you can register a so-called title that reflects your personality. The more Turf War battles you wage, the more words you unlock. We're consulting with a staff mathematician, but we estimate there are a gazillion possibilities, scientifically speaking. So the example here is Splats4 fashionista, which is, I mean, I guess that's someone who likes to look good. Because people are like, there's such... I did not know this, but there was Alex Swoomy. They're in a part of the I can't remember, it's the warehouse, something warehouse, Woomy warehouse. There's apparently a lot of people in there that just are after certain gear with certain abilities, and it's unreal that people are so passionate about abilities and the outfits and stuff like that. Blows my mind how much people care and think about it. But yeah, that's another community, a sub-community, I guess you could say. So yeah, Splatoon 3. The release date. We got a release date too, everyone. I forgot to mention that. 9th of September 2022. Now, the speculation was that because Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 1 were like mid-year, like June, July, or May even. But interestingly enough, Nintendo announced that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was brought forward to that kind of time slot where Splatoon 3 would have been announced. But I feel like the belief there is that they didn't want to release both major IP games next to each other because they probably want to give Xenoblade Chronicles a fresher breath of air, some space for some breath of air, I guess, just so that in that way Xenoblade Chronicles can, really work on their player size, the size of the amount of people playing it, I guess, if that makes sense. Because obviously if you put the two together, then they're kind of choking each other's player group, because there are people that do like both Xenoblade and Splatoon, and maybe vice versa. And they're both completely different games, obviously, because Xenoblade is a solo, single-player game type thing, and Splatoon 3 will be massive, like just online multiplayer mainly. So yeah, they pushed it back to September, which is fair. Like, I understand, but which is kind of, I don't mind it really, because it gives me more time to play GoodTuber Custom, so I get more turf on that thing. But yeah, Splatoon 3, 9th and the 9th. Interesting date decision, actually. 9th and the 9th. So, yeah. So, something else that caught my eye was... what was it? There was one other thing I forget. Just let me pad here for a second. So, we got all the specials. I think that was it, really. That was most of the Splatoon 3 things I could think of. Yeah, I think that's basically all I wanted to talk about. Let me try and find Splatoon JP, because they have a lot of stuff. This is where you get a lot more information than the English ones. Yeah, so there's the charger. They did show the charger. I thought they did. Yeah, so they showed off the Splattershot. They showed off the Junior and the Gal, which we kind of suspected, but that was before they showed off those weapons before they released the information that every base weapon's returning. So, I mean, that's fair enough. Like, yeah, it's fun. Don't care. I think so the name in Japanese for the tri-bow is called the tri-stringer. So I think it might be called stringer in English. I'm not sure. But yeah, it looks kind of cool. Like, originally, like, when the announcement of Splatoon 3 was coming out, like, my thought was, if GoodTuber doesn't come back, I'll main the stringer thing. If only Splatoon ANZ was real, nah, I don't want it to be real. It's too much. Yeah. So let me just scroll a bit more, see what other Splatoon 3 stuff so they showed more images of the bosses. So there's the fish finger, and then there's the diver, also known as the flipper flopper. It's just a stupid name. Oh, I forgot to mention this about the salmon run mode. You can now pass eggs to each other. You can throw eggs if you're about to die to your teammate, or if you're like that, or not one person who always just takes an egg and falls in the water every time. So yeah, that's also a thing. But yeah, I think that's basically it for Splatoon 3 news. I guess one more thing was the new animations. There's new weapon animations with whether you win or lose at the end of the game. So that's cool. It's something fresh. But yeah, 9th of the 9th, 2022. Book in your dates, book in your diaries, put that down on your list. Yeah, it's coming. Splatoon 3 is coming. And I think it'll be 6 years. It'll mark 6 years that Splatoon 2 has been out. I think. It might be 5 or 6 years. I can't remember. I really can't remember. But yeah, it's been a long time. Been a long time. So yeah, Splatoon 3 coming to Nintendo Switch. One other thing I do want to quickly mention about, this is not Splatoon 3 related, but it is Splatoon 2 related. So everyone who doesn't know, Nex underscore SPL is an Australian Sploosh 7 player, mainly Sploosh 7. And just recently, Nex reached 2900 XP, which is ridiculous. So, well done to Nex. Huge well done. It's been insane watching Nex go, because like there was a thing back in 2020 maybe. Gabe on Twitter, he's from Western Australia. I'm not sure if he's in the community much more, but he made a tweet about like if any Oceanic player makes 2700, he'll give $50. If someone makes 2700, he'll give $100. If someone gets 2900, they get, I don't know, maybe it was $200. So Nex has reached that. So Gabe, pay up, man. I think he did actually. He might have actually done that. So yeah, but what on Nex? Oh, here we go. $250. There you go. It was. Yeah, good on you, Gabe. Good on you, Gabe. Nex for thoroughly deserved though. But yeah, so that's all I had really planned for this episode, guys. If there's anyone in chat... Oh, by the way, I should mention, for those who are listening or watching this VOD, I am streaming this show live over on twitch.tv/wackojacker_. So you can catch this live, where if you want to ask questions to me, my thoughts about anything in particular, you're more than welcome to ask. But yeah, Splatoon 3, 9th of 9th, 2022. The original was released on 25th of the 5th, 2015. Yeah, we only get 2 or 3 years of Splatoon 1. That's such a short amount of time. But you can see why. Like, the Switch was meant for Splatoon 2. So good. Yeah, Splatoon 2 has been a life change for me. It's really helped me. Like, people who say like certain things helped me make me the way I am now, and like YouTuber has been a weapon that has affected me so much. Like, not only has it made me learn another language, it's true. I've learned basic Japanese, not much, just saying hello, good evening, my name is, welcome, hi. But like, I've learned most of the Japanese Splatoon language stuff, so like weapon names, map names, call outs, stuff like that. So with that though, learning Japanese, I've made some Japanese friends, which is crazy. I mean, I know there's some other people that have done it more, but I feel like this is not really this is like a humble brag, I guess, but like, I feel like because I've been playing GooTuber and I can speak a little bit of Japanese, a tiny bit of Japanese, I really feel like someone on one of my Japanese followers tweeted saying the GooTuber brings the world together. Well, SoyTuber brings the world together, because that's what the name of it in Japanese is. And it just kind of really hit me like, yeah, I guess it really does. Because I have a GooTuber Discord, and there's quite a lot of people in there, and it's quite active. So yeah, seeing a lot of people from all sorts of walks of life around the world in that server, just those who enjoy GooTuber are there, and it's just so cool to see people there and talking about it and whatnot. So yeah, it's kind of a realized moment that, whoa, my life is different because of this. But yeah, it's insane. Thank you, Splatoon. Thank you, Mr. Nagami. Thank you. So yeah, that'll do for this episode, guys. I think that's all I can really wanted to cover about, really. Just the basic Splatoon 3 news that we've seen on Twitter from the official accounts, some of my early thoughts. So yeah, I will have to admit, Splashdown under the show, it's back, but like, it's not back in a massive way. It's back just to like, every now and then when we get Splatoon 3 news updates, I'm basically going to do an episode. And then maybe in the future we'll get some guests on if people want to join the conversation, join the show for fun. More than welcome. Otherwise, we're happy to have you here on the Twitch channel where I'm streaming this, just to be interacting with you guys in chat. So yeah, thank you guys for listening or watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave a like, comment below, please, just to say that you've enjoyed this, or that you want to hear my thoughts about something about the game or anything. Splatoon 2 even, because this game, Splatoon 2, still got a good amount. It's got maybe 5 more months, 4 or 5 more months until Splatoon 3 comes. So we'll see how we go. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye for now.